guys, and welcome to another edition of the Transfer Show. This is going to be the first of many. My name is Ashmatic, and you'll find me on a view from the South Stand or at South View Koi. So yeah, guys, check me out. If you're not a member, make sure you subscribe and you give me a thumbs up as well. Give me a like, it helps the algorithm just to help, get into your faces a little bit more. I want to just quickly talk about Arne Slot and the players we could get on a budget. Tottenham don't look likely to face Europe this season, so we'll need to look at alternatives if we don't get our targets. Now, we've been heavily linked with players like Mark Guay, ND, that's on a free transfer, but who's to say we can get any of those players? There's a number of clubs that are in the market for a centre-back, and left-sided centre-backs are very hard to come by. Now, the players I want to mention today that are left-footed or central centre-backs, we need them because if we're going to play in a back four, we need someone that has a bit of pace, someone that's going to be able to smell the danger, be physical, be able to tackle, and help our teams if we're pushing up high to recover possession. The players I'm looking at today are going to be Timber, Lukeba, Mark Guay is going to be in there, and Ndika's in there as well. And we've got a guy called Richuba, he's a PSV defender. So these are the players that we're going to look at their different attributes and different qualities. So guys, when looking at defenders that like to defend, you have to take things into consideration. We're going to look at Lukeba and Mark Guay in a microscope. So with Mark Guay, he plays for a more defensive team, I would say, in Crystal Palace. So they would have had a lot more teams coming onto them, and at times they would, have defensive shape. And so therefore you expect there to be a lot more tackles from someone like Mark Guay. However, Lukeba is in a lot more front-footed team, attacking team in Lyon. They have a lot more possession than Crystal Palace, albeit in a different league. But he actually has more tackles and interceptions with 101 in total this season. Also, if you look at Mark Guay has more blocks and clearances than him. But you'd expect that from a team that's in the lower half of the table. So when you take that into context, Lukeba looks like the stronger defender of the two. When it comes to actual errors, Lukeba has made one error, whereas Mark Guay, he's made 3 big errors. And Tottenham were no strangers to actual errors when it comes to the football pitch. When it comes to the attacking phase of play, Rachida is the most attacking out of the defenders. He's got 2 to 3 goals this season with an assist as well. So his metrics are really good from his team. If we look at Lukeba is really good at bringing the ball forward. But when it comes to bringing the ball forward, I think Timber has more successful carries than Lukeba. Lukeba has a little bit more successful dribbles. But when it comes to progressively carrying the ball up the pitch, Timber reigns supreme. He's a guy that understands good spatial awareness, good football IQ. I know Arne Slot's looking for a defender that can sometimes push into the midfield. So between the 3 players, they can all do that successfully because they have attributes of physicality, quite good on the ball. Now they're predominantly left-footed, but can use the right foot as well to dribble and receive ball under pressure. So those 3 players are the strongest out of all of them. And I know I haven't mentioned Ndika yet, but I'm just going off what the stats are saying at the moment. Defending aerially, the best guy for the aerial defense is Ndika. He has the highest amount of headers out of the lot, and then not far behind is Henkapi. So those are the 2 defenders that are really on top when it comes to winning their aerial challenges, aerial battles. Okay, so when it comes to passing on the ball, Timber hits most metrics. So when it comes to short passes completed and medium passes completed, Timber reigns top. However, when it comes to long passes, Mark Guay comes on top on that one, with Lukeba not far behind, finished 2nd or 3rd behind those 2. So those are the 3 guys that are good. Some of these defenders are cheap options, something you can't get around. If you want a quality defender and they're young and they're left-sided, you're going to need to pay and put your hand in your pocket. That's the way I see it. You can't really get around it. But for me, who's the best defender I like? I like Lukeba the best. I think he's all-rounder. He's got the pace, physicality, awareness, can carry the ball progressively as well, completes dribbles, does medium to short passes, got a long-range pass in him as well. I think he's the best suited. The one that knows Premier League, obviously, is Mark Guay. Having the eye test watched him against Spurs, he hasn't impressed me all that much, but however, against other teams, he has looked physical. He looks like a player that can improve. And again, one thing I say is all these players, the average age I would say is 22. They're either 22, 21 or 19. In the World Cup, Timber did impress me when I did watch him. So again, another player I'd like to look at. And I think the price range we're looking at is anything between 40 and 50 million for one of these top centre backs. So this is what I'm saying. Get your hands out. There's many options. Some options I never mentioned. I might mention them in another video when I do so. Colwell from Chelsea, playing at Brighton on loan at the moment. He's a really good option, I feel. Tall centre back. And there's another option as well with Man City looking at Guardiola, so they might be dropping one of their defenders out. Now we're going to talk about a 10. Now, in my opinion, Maddison will be a tough ask. I know a lot of fans want to see him through the door. He seems like the playmaker we've been missing, that person that can find Kane so he doesn't have to keep dropping into the hole. Equally, Maddison can either play on the left or the right, so even as a false nine. So Maddison really is a massive option. He's been doing it in the Premier League for many seasons, and he's proven that he's a top level player in the Premier League. But saying that, if Maddison has decided not to come to Spurs, or we're not able to convince him to come, or we don't have the money to buy him, are there any other options? Can Spurs look at any other midfielders? Around like Vega, he plays in the Liga, very good player, plays for Celta Vigo, he's quite young, 22 I believe. We've been linked with Goncalves. In the past is someone called Mohamed Kudus. Another player that I think is quality that could be got if the price was met is someone called Eze. So those are three midfielders that you could either call them playmakers or you call them more attacking midfielders. I'd more or less say attacking midfielders. In terms of goals, Pedro Goncalves, he has got the most goals. He's got like something like 15. I think he's got more goals than Maddison at the moment. So his ability, his shooting ability is phenomenal. Shots on target, shots actually taken, he's up there. So he's a person, as soon as he gets in that area or a certain zone, he's having a shot. His XG is really good as well. So from the certain angles, when you say XG, expected goals. So it's how many defenders are in front of you, and if you're in front of the goal, how likely is it for you to score? How many times do you get into those positions? Now, he's scoring from positions that where if your XG is not as high as everyone else's, he's still scoring. So his actual quality is up there. Not to mention the amount of places he gets into score goals. However, when it comes to Kudus, dribbling, he's the man. Out of all three of them, and Eze's a really good performer. We've seen him live in the Premier League. Mohamed Kudus, successful take-ons, they're the best out of the three. He really nails on the take-ons. His successful dribbles. But when it comes to like carrying the ball and pushing the ball into space, again, Pedro wins. So that just gives me the idea that he's got great football IQ, great intelligence. He knows when to dribble, when to put it into space, when to start the attack. And then also the metrics I also looked at was defending. And when it comes to a successful tackle rate, Kudus is the best, and Eze is not far behind him. But the problem is when it comes to the actual tackle attempts, they're not tackling as much as Goncalves.